Alrighty guys, we're gonna go through the gear that I take to an event shoot. And what I take always, and then I might throw in some stuff that I take sometimes depending on the event.
Yeah, we were talking oh so close on this Friday night. A million faces overdose, and yours I happened to find with a smile that exploded across your face and then mine. It's got me wondering, how is it gonna be without this bottle of wine? The phrases you don't wanna hear, paired with strangers and cheap beer. What can I say to make me someone worth believing? So this time, yeah, this time I'll get it right. So can I call you on a Sunday afternoon? Don't want my words to be confused under the shadow of the moon. We'll do it right, bring it to life. Why don't we leave this here tonight? So can I call you on a Sunday afternoon? Now the time's gone, but it floats. I still feel your eyes, green and cautious like you know. Got me categorized like I couldn't be your kind of lover. But can I change your mind? Can we slow it down?
So this is the 5D Mark III, my dinosaur of a camera body. But boy, is it dependable. So I will take this with both of the memory cards in there. So it takes an SD and a CF Express card. So I will have it in there, both of those in there, and I will record raw images to both cards separately at the same time, so that I have a backup if one of the cards were to fail. I've never had that happen, but the card that's in there right now, the SD card that's in there right now, it's kind of splitting apart, which I'm due to replace this anyway. It's a card that's fast enough for this camera, but when I upgrade, whenever that is, it's not going to be fast enough to do video. So this will need to be upgraded anyway, but I've never had a card actually fail on me. I always use really good cards. The SanDisk is the brand that I've preferred. Lenses, I will take the 24-105 Canon L f4. This has been a great workhorse of a lens. It is not as fast. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. So it's a good workhorse of a lens, but it's not as fast as the 24-70 2.8. Obviously that one's gonna do better in low light, but this lens has been great. I've had it for 10 years. It was recently giving me trouble with the autofocus, and I was a little concerned about it because I have used this lens so much. So I was thinking it was just crapping out on me. And what I found when I did some digging is that some lenses, the contacts between the contacts that connect it to the camera can get dirty and interfere with the performance of the autofocus. So I cleaned those, and it seems to be working the way that it should now. I've got my fingers crossed. I don't trust this lens again yet, because what it would do is it would look like it was focusing kind of But when I got back, everything was blurry, especially in AI servo. My first lens, because I started on the editing side and I started on the second shooting side, I had used the 70-200 2.8 with the photographer that I started with. And so the very first lens that I got when I got the 6DD was the 70-200 2.8. This is not the image stabilized lens, but it has been phenomenal. I love this lens. I don't pack them with the lens hood forward. I will pack them with the lens hood backwards usually if I'm trying to fit a lot of stuff in with the lens cap on. But while I'm shooting, once I get it out, it's going to have the lens cap on the camera always. And it's not a matter of if I'm always worried about sun flare, it's an issue with protecting the front of the lens. I don't use filters usually. I have an ND filter and a variable ND filter for very specific circumstances. But to protect the front of the lens, I always have the lens hood on. When I see photographers that don't have it on, it kind of gives me anxiety because I've had so many instances of, I've turned with it, or someone has walked by, or any number of things where the front of my lens would have come into contact with something if not for the lens hood. So also the plate for the tripod. I will have that on here. This actually is a plate for the RS2 gimbal from DJI, the Ronin, and it works great as well. So I can put this onto the plate for the tripod. This one, you don't want the plate for the tripod to be on the camera. You want it on the lens because the lens is so heavy. So I do have that on those. I do usually take a second camera body that I'm filming with right now. That is the 6D. Again, another dinosaur of a camera body, but it's great. It's full frame. And then on that camera right now, I have the Sigma 50 1.4 art lens, which is just phenomenal. I love that lens. The sharpness is incredible. It is a great prime lens. So 3 lenses is all I have. That's all I use. The 50 1.4 Sigma art, the Canon 24-105 f4L, the Canon 70-200 2.8 L, not image stabilized. So that is the basic breakdown of the main equipment that I take. Another thing that I will always take to events is the tripod, but I actually don't use the whole tripod. This is the MeFoto MeFoto aluminum. I don't think that they make this particular one anymore. I think it's called something else, or they have some variations to the MeFoto. I believe MeFoto is a subsidiary or a brand underneath Benro, but don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. But this leg comes off, and then this top section will also detach from the main body of the tripod. And then it becomes a monopod. So the reason that I need this on events is because if I'm utilizing this really heavy lens, you can get a lot of camera shake with that. And so the tripod really helps mitigate that. So you put the camera body on here, and you have the ultimate control. So the problem with a tripod is that you're really stuck and you can't move very much. With the monopod, you can move so much, and yet you still have the assistance with the weight, and it's so much easier to hold it really, really steady and get those shots that you wouldn't be able to just straight handheld. So I really appreciate this setup, and I take this to every event. One of the issues with events is you have really low light in a lot of these venues, and so you need all the help you can get. You need to be able to lower that shutter speed to a level that you're not going to be getting a lot of motion blur from people because they're not moving that fast. But you definitely need the help steadying for camera shake and things like that. The 2.8 is great. Again, this is one of the reasons that this lens is my favorite. You get it down to that 2.8. You aren't going to have to go down too far with your shutter speed in a normal lit venue if they're not turning down the lights for something specific. And then this lens is really good for my style of shooting, which is sniping. Basically, I'm getting a lot of candid moments. I'm trying to get people, what I'm looking for is people in good light, and I'm kind of waiting for their expression to shine, for that moment, that pop that you get when people are interacting and their expressions are lighting up, or they're conveying an idea, or all sorts of things that are so exciting when people come together, and the whole point of these events. And so that's why this lens really does well for me. So that covers like 90% of stuff that I will take to events all the time. Now, I will sometimes do on-camera flash. This is the Flashpoint or the Godox Zoom Lion XR2. I actually have some Canon flashes, but I will use this one now because the battery lasts so much longer, and my off-camera flashes are Flashpoint, Godox. It's the same thing. If you don't know why I'm saying Flashpoint and Godox, Flashpoint and Godox are the same. It's just a different brand name. The Flashpoint is sold through Autorama, and the Godox you can get through B&H and other places, but it's the same equipment, just under a different brand name. So these off-camera flashes, these are the eVolv 200 Pros. Under the Godox name, it would be the AD 200 Pro. These can be controlled by this flash. I also have the remote trigger for these. The problem with the remote trigger is the battery doesn't last very long. And then I do have the round head. So these are fantastic because they just click together. I love this head to the eVolv Pro. So off camera flash is a more specific use case. So if we have a dance floor and I have the opportunity to set up lights for a wedding or for some event that's going to have a dancing like that, I might do that. The photo booth, things of that nature. I'm not going to use off-camera flash just in an event space generally. It has to be really targeted. You're not just going to be running around with an off-camera flash on a stand and trying to get just general stuff. One of the things that a couple of the things that I'm adding to my kit lately, because I'm trying to develop this video skill. This is a DJI gimbal for my smartphone. So I do use this. I'll take this, and if I have the opportunity to do video, I'll use this. And then I also have the Insta360 X3, which I'm also filming on. I don't know if I'll use any of that footage, but Both of those are great video options. And then the 5D Mark III and the 6D do some video, but they're not good video cameras, which kind of leads into a video that I'll probably do soon, which is my consideration of possibly switching to Sony. I get so disappointed when I get stuff into the computer and I realize that it's soft. It's not tack sharp. And Sony has a great reputation, and they have so many more lenses to choose from. They have their lens lines, but then they also have third party, and the Sigma Art lens that I'm filming on right now has been one of my favorites when it comes to sharpness. Great images that come out of this lens. And so the fact that you can't use a Sigma lens on any of the new Canon mirrorless bodies without the adapter just kind of sticks in my side, thorn in my side. So we'll see. The thing is that with the adapter, it would be so much cheaper for me to get the R7 or the R6 Mark II or the R5 and then just utilize the lenses that I have. But basically, I'm at a crossroads where I'm going to have to choose which system to upgrade to, because I can't. The DSLR is fine, but obviously the tech is going towards mirrorless. The quality is going towards mirrorless. That's where we're going, and I love what mirrorless does, and I love the small form factor of the Sony. So it's tough. I've been so devoted to Canon for 14 years now. So it wasn't even an option to switch for so long, but now that I'm here, we'll see. I'm still really debating. So, okay. I need to go through this bag. So this is a ThinkTankPhoto, and it is the Streetwalker Rolling Backpack V2.0. The reason I have to check is because I have had this bag for years, and ThinkTankPhoto they work, they last. These pour zippers, I have put through the ringer. I just took a trip with this bag. I can fit the laptop, and then so many little doodads, and you can configure this however you want. And these zippers are so heavy duty. So it has the handle, but then it also has the ability to so this will fold down. And then and you've got backpack straps. When this is fully loaded with gear, this is so heavy. So what's great about this is the flexibility where you can roll it. So you roll it through the airport, you don't have to hold it. But if you need to put this on your back and carry it somewhere, so much better than having to use the handle. Just hands down, way better. So this bag is one of my absolute favorites, and travel-wise, it's great. It has plenty of room, especially if I switch to Sony. It's gonna have plenty of room for everything. And not just camera gear, I can fit a lot of other stuff in here as well. So that's great. Okay. I think that's it. That's what I take for an event. Let me know if you have any comments any suggestions, especially if you want to weigh in on whether I should go for Sony versus when I upgrade sticking with the Canon ecosystem. There are so many. Maybe I'll do a separate video on it, on all of the things that are kind of pulling me towards Sony over Canon, because I've loved Canon so much. And I don't want to switch just because the grass is greener, but there are definitely things about Sony that I can't ignore as things that are very important to me and will become more and more important to me going forward. So, yes, let me know. Comments on my gear or comments on Sony versus Canon. Let's put those below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.